Everyone thinks an 8-inch floating screen like the Stinger ELEV8 is just a flashy upgrade, but here's the thing, the screen is the least interesting part. The real value is under the hood. 4 camera inputs, HDMI, and Sirius audio control. I spent 2 weeks living with the ELEV8 in daily traffic, night drives, and a weekend road trip, and what surprised me wasn't what you see on the dash, it's what you can do behind it. The Amazon rating sits at 3.7, so I went in skeptical. But after installing it, testing Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and wiring multiple cameras, the story turned out way more nuanced than the marketing. Before we dive into what I discovered, quick heads up. If you're already convinced and want the best current price, the link is below. But stick around, because a couple of quirks I uncovered could save you hours of frustration. Here's why I needed this head unit. My older SUV had no CarPlay, the stock Bluetooth was choppy, and I'm towing a small trailer a few weekends a month. I needed front and rear cameras, maybe side cameras down the line, plus a clean way to stream video for passengers on long trips. I've tried 2 other units in the past. A budget Android-based radio that lagged like crazy and a well-known brand that only had 1 camera input. Both left me annoyed and swapping gear mid-season. The ELEV8 promised an HD capacitive touchscreen with 16.7 million colors, hands-free Bluetooth 4.2 ADP, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, Sirius XM ready with replay, a 15-band EQ, 2 USBs, 1 HDMI rear input, a built-in microSD slot for optional navigation, and 4 camera inputs with wired triggers. On paper, perfect, but could it handle real-world chaos? Install first. The ELEV8 is modular. A slim 8-inch touch panel connects via an LVDS cable to the radio module you hide in the dash. You get a pile of harnesses in the box, an external mic, mounting brackets and hardware, and a steering wheel control harness. Important, this is universal installation. There's no vehicle-specific dash kit included, so budget time and parts. My install took about 2.5 hours with a vehicle-specific kit and a simple harness adapter. Cable management matters here. Keep that LVDS and HDMI away from power lines to avoid noise. The screen angle is adjustable, and once secured, it felt solid. On rough roads, I saw a tiny wobble over big potholes, nothing dramatic, but it's a floating screen, not an in-dash brick. Boot and responsiveness. Cold start to audio took around 11 seconds on average. Apple CarPlay connected and was usable by the 15-second mark. Warm starts were basically instant, 2 seconds. The UI is straightforward and mostly snappy. Once, when scanning a giant 128 GB USB music library, there was a brief stutter, but it didn't affect playback. Daytime visibility. The HD capacitive panel pops with color, but the glass is glossy. At noon, you'll get reflections. Tilting the screen down a notch helped a lot, and nighttime dimming behaved correctly with the headlights. CarPlay and Android Auto were stable over 2 weeks of testing. Maps, Spotify, calls, no random disconnects as long as I used a good cable. Bluetooth streaming via 8ADP sounded clean and stayed in sync with video over HDMI when parked. Speaking of calls, the external mic was a win. Around town calls were crisp. At 70 mph with windows cracked, callers heard some road noise until I repositioned the mic higher on the A-pillar. Placement matters. Audio. The 15-band adjustable EQ with 6 user presets is the star of the show if you care about sound. I did a basic tune with pink noise and a quick RTA check, then some by-ear tweaks. Stage locked in, vocals centered, and bass tightened up nicely. If you're feeding aftermarket amps, the signal sounded clean and noise-free in my setup. For stock speakers, even a few EQ nudges made them come alive more than expected. Cameras, this is where the ELEV8 separates itself. You get 4 camera video inputs with wired triggers. I ran a rear cam on reverse, a front cam on a momentary switch, and left 2 inputs free for future side cameras. Switching is quick, about half a second, and I didn't see any signal noise. The wired triggers let you do smart stuff like engage a front cam under 10 mph or flip to side cams with turn signals if you wire it that way. The catch, you need to run those trigger wires. It's not plug and play, but the flexibility is awesome if you're towing, off-roading, or parking in tight urban spots. HDMI and Sirius XM. The rear HDMI input worked great with a streaming stick powered by a 12V USB, crisp video parked, and audio passed cleanly through. As expected, video is locked out while moving for safety. SiriusXM Ready with Replay did its thing with the SXV tuner attached. Channel changes were quick and the replay buffer was handy on talk radio. Navigation. If you add the optional microSD with IGO, you get full offline guidance. I tested with a borrowed card. It's reliable when you're off-grid, but the interface feels dated compared to CarPlay or Android Auto. If you're rarely out of service, just use your phone maps. If you go remote, it's a solid safety net. Here's where it gets interesting. I went in thinking ELEV8 was about the screen. It isn't, it's about control. 4 cameras plus HDMI plus a deep EQ make it a command center for a build. After about 430 miles of mixed driving, my biggest surprise was the audio section's headroom and how much more confident I felt maneuvering with multiple camera views. The Amazon 3.7 rating had me ready for software headaches, but the only repeatable quirks I saw were occasional wallpaper resets after a cold boot and that brief library scan stutter, not deal breakers. Compared to alternatives, if you want wireless CarPlay or Android Auto, some Pioneer and Kenwood units nail that convenience but often cap you at 1 or 2 camera inputs and no HDMI. A popular single-DIN floating screen might give you a larger 8.95-inch display, but again, fewer inputs. The ELEV8 trades wireless convenience for expandability. If you build rigs, that trade is worth it. If you just want a simple, wireless, set-it-and-forget-it head unit, look elsewhere. Worried it's too good to be true? It's not. But you must plan your install, route triggers, and accept a glossy screen that needs angle tweaking in strong sun. Do that, and you unlock capability most head units in this class simply don't offer. Now that you know the ELEV8's real strength is being a hub for cameras, HDMI, and Sirius tuning, get it before the good dash kits and camera stock dry up. I've linked the best current price below, plus the accessories I used to make the install painless. Bottom line, the Stinger ELEV8 is an easy recommend for builders, overlanders, tow rigs, and anyone who wants multiple cameras and better audio control. If you're a beginner who demands wireless CarPlay and a true plug-and-play install, you might be happier with a different unit. For everyone else, this is not just an 8-inch pretty face. It's a Swiss Army dash if you're willing to do the wiring, and that's what nobody tells you until you live with it.